You've been told, maybe your whole life, that the problem was your standards. They're too high. They're too much. You're too picky. You have too successful of a career. That's intimidating. That's a bunch of bullshit. Welcome to the High Value Woman's Playbook. I'm your host, Amanda Carroll, and every episode, I hand you one play to run in your life, to get the life and the love that you deserve. Just think of me as like, you're a football coach, and this is the playbook so that we can win. I'm like the female Signetti. It's for my IU fans. Okay, so if you're new here, do the thing that keeps the show alive, okay? Subscribe, follow, leave a review. It takes 30 seconds, and it's how the next woman who needs this finds us. All right, now today, I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. I'm gonna tell you what exactly is happening, why. I'm gonna tell you what's actually falling apart in modern love, and I promise you, it's not you, and it's not men, and it's totally fixable. I'm going to put the research in front of you because I don't deal in hope, I deal in evidence. And then I'm going to give you a 20-minute play that turns I'm done with all men into I'm finally putting myself in charge of finding the love of my life. Let's get into it. But before we do, I need to tell you about something I built for you completely free. It's a live training called Magnetic Attraction, and it answers the question underneath today's whole episode. Once you stop chasing the broken model of relationships that a lot of religion taught you, how do you actually become the woman a commitment-ready, high-value man that wants an equal partner moves towards? Not by performing, definitely not by shrinking, and not by waiting and hoping that he just notices you. It's on purpose with a strategy. That's the training. It is completely free. You can download the link in the show notes. Go grab a seat and watch it whenever you have time. It's gonna change your life. Watch it right after this episode. Okay, deal? Deal. I gotta tell you about a brunch I had last weekend. I sat down with a good friend. It'd been 15 years since I saw her. Let's just call her Natalie for our purposes here. And she was the one that got me through my divorce. She lived right across the street from me in Vienna, Virginia. And when my ex-husband left me and I had 3 tiny little kids, they were 4, 19 months and 8 weeks old, Natasha was there every day, held my hand through the whole thing. She even found a lawyer for me. We didn't even know where he lived. She was there for me. And over the years, we stayed in touch, but we kind of lost touch when she went through divorce and we kind of lost touch when I moved to California, and then she moved to Denver, got divorced. And then it just so happened that she was in Sacramento, where I live, and messaged me, and we had brunch together and picked up right where we left off 15 years later. She was sharing a lot about her brutal divorce and starting life over. And here's what got me. When she said she was done with men, she wasn't really bitter. She wasn't angry about it. She was calm, clear, relieved almost, like a woman setting down a bag she'd been carrying for a decade that was worn out. I'm done. I can provide for myself. What would a husband even add to my life? I got her. And I want to be honest with you, before I sat in that exact chair once, I was her. She's not wrong to protect herself after what she survived. Walking away is the most rational move on the board, right? But why did my stomach drop for her? Because I could hear the thing underneath the sentence. She wasn't saying love is a lie. She was saying the only love I've ever experienced cost me everything. So I'm just going to check out. No, thank you. And nobody has ever shown her that there's another option. So let me say the thing I came here to say. We are not living through an epidemic of women who can't love or men who won't. We are watching one specific model of marriage collapse in real time, and nobody has built us a new one. But I will share the path with you. Listen to all the noise out there. The panic that the government is having about low birth rate, and what women say, where did all the good men go? And then what men are saying, women are impossible right now. Everybody's pointing the finger and nobody at the right place. Women at men, men at women, and the whole time the actual culprit is standing in the middle of the room and no one else will name it, but I will. Here it is. It's religion. Neither of us was ever taught how to build a healthy relationship. We were handed one blueprint from religious organizations and told it was the best way and it was the only one that existed. And if we followed it, we would prevent getting divorced. But it's not true. Look at the numbers. That blueprint, the old one, where he leads, goes out and works, she follows, stays home and takes care of the family. He decides, she submits, you stay no matter what it costs you. And a woman shrinking herself gets called a good, dutiful wife. I hate that phrase. Behind every successful man is a good woman. No, we're not doing that anymore. I know that model down to the studs because I walked out of it. I left evangelicalism and the version of marriage it sells, and I will not apologize for it. I will shout it out with a megaphone. I still believe in a lot of the teachings of Jesus. I call him Yeshua now. That was actually his real name. I just stopped letting an institution that took his teachings and changed it and created a culture that saw women as second-class citizens when Yeshua never did. I stopped letting that institution draw the map for me about what love and relationships was supposed to mean. And I made my own blueprint for equal partnership because I knew that would actually work. So that model didn't fail because people stopped trying it, okay? It fails because it was never gonna work to begin with. It's a hierarchy with just a pretty wedding cake on top that controls women and makes them miserable and allows men to succeed, building their career off the backs of women. Now, here's why I lose the Christian woman. Just stay with me right now, okay? I promise this is not deconstructing your whole religion. This is gonna save you. I need you to hear this opinion because really it's not based on an idea. This is based on facts. I'm not going to give you just my feelings. I'm going to give you those, but I'm also going to give you the data. There's a researcher. She's a friend of mine. Her name is Sheila Ray Gregoire. She runs a project called Bare Marriage. And she did what almost no one has done at this big of a scale. She surveyed 20,000 women about their real marriages, not their opinions about marriage and what the church made them say, but their marriages. And I need you to sit down for this number, okay? When the husband is the one who makes the decisions, the patriarchal relationship that the church teaches you, even when he consults his wife first, even when he's lovely about it, those marriages are 7.4 times more likely to end in divorce. Holy shit, right? 7 times. Not the marriages where the man was cruel, the marriages that ran the blueprint exactly as written, and it's not a fluke. Here's a second opinion for you. Dr. John Gottman, he's the man who says he can predict divorce from watching a couple talk for 15 minutes. He found the same thing decades ago, but no one's telling you this. When a husband won't share power, when he's dominating, I'm the leader, there is an 81% chance that marriage self-destructs. And often it's so based on high demand religion that the woman just deals with it and punishes herself the whole life and never gets to experience what true love is. What God intends. So please hear what I'm telling you. The old model wasn't a safe bet. And it's not that just a few bad people who sinned fumbled it. The old model is the riskiest thing you could do for your future. I truly believe that the most important decision a woman will ever make in her life is who she decides to spend it with. So girl, we gotta make our decision based on evidence, not what a pastor or a priest who's never even been married himself tells you to do. Gregoire found one more thing, and this is the part that really stops the room here, okay? Most couples who say they believe the man should lead, they don't actually do it. They don't live it. Behind closed doors, they decide everything together. They share the wheel, and those couples are thriving. It's only the couples that run the patriarchal hierarchy for reals, as my kids would say, where he is genuinely in charge, working, and she stays at home, the trad wife. Those are the relationships that fall apart. You don't want that. So the traditional marriages we hold up as proof that the old way works, almost none of them are actually running the old way. They're partnerships. They're just pretending to do the things that the church tells them to do. The blueprint, the old way, has been taking credit for results it never actually produced. Okay, quick pause. Because if that number of 7 times more likely to end in divorce just landed in your chest, this is exactly why I built Magnetic Attraction. It's my free training on how to become magnetic to the right man, the one that will treat you as his equal and is not into the patriarchy, the one ready to build the partnership with the data just described. There's no chasing, there's no guessing. It's a real strategy. It is free and you can watch it at any time you want. The link is in the show notes. So go get that right after this episode, okay? It's the very next step to create a dating profile that sends away the clowns and immediately tracks high-value partners. Okay, now I want you to put the data down for a second because here comes the part that is not about research, it's about you. You've been told, maybe your whole life, that the problem was your standards. They're too high, they're too much, you're too picky, you have too successful of a career, that's intimidating. That's a bunch of bullshit. You've heard it so many times, you started wondering it was true, and you might even feel bad about yourself because of it. Stop. Let me tell you, so let me be the one who tells you the truth. Your standards have never been the problem. Your success has never been the problem. In fact, that's exactly what an egalitarian, a man that is an equal partner, wants. You were just handed an old structure that was built to fail. And then you were handed the blame when it did. You're not to blame. The old structure that refuses to acknowledge that their blueprint is failing both men and women is the one that is to blame. There is a design flaw. Okay, breathe for that for a second. I think some of you have been waiting 20 years for someone to say this. You know the other thing about Sheila Gregoire's research? She found that the patriarchal marriage, the one that creates trad wives, the one where man goes out and works and provides while the woman stays home, it has the lowest quality of happiness for women and the biggest orgasm gap. Makes sense, right? He's all about himself. I know it too. I lived it. That was my first marriage. I didn't even have my own bank account. I had to ask permission to buy things. Never again am I going to do that. And let's see what her study found about the reverse, the egalitarian marriage. The one where both partners see each other as equals, you make decisions together, you both are working, you both are sharing responsibilities of raising the children. Highest quality of happiness for women and lowest orgasm gap. Why isn't religion teaching that? They should. In fact, kind of the way Jesus taught it. That's what Yeshua, how he lived. Okay, let's move on. It's not your fault. It wasn't that you couldn't love correctly. It wasn't that he wasn't enough. It's not that you're too intimidating and too successful. It was the architecture of what your parents taught you and modeled for you and what a church or a religion taught you. Here's what I know to be true after walking out of mine, my ex-husband, and watching over 257 women who I've personally coached walk out of that old thinking too. A design flaw is the most fixable problem there is. This is good. You don't fix a blueprint by feeling worse about yourself. You fix it by just drawing up a new one. So if the old model isn't what makes love work, what does? The research keeps pointing at one answer, and it is almost boringly consistent. The marriages that thrive run on partnership, 2 equals, shared decisions, both people's needs weighing the exact same. Your needs matter. Gregoire's newest work with her husband, Dr. Keith Gregoire, say it very plainly that what builds a strong marriage was never the roles. It's emotional health and real intimacy and decisions made together. And here's the truth that I wish someone had handed me when I was 23 years old, all steeped up in religion and obeying the patriarchy, thinking I was a good girl. A healthy relationship isn't based on how pure you are at the point of the wedding. A healthy relationship is a skill that is buildable and that is learnable and is repeatable, exactly like every other hard thing that you've gotten really good at. Think about your career. The reason why you're so successful is because you learned a skill. You built upon that skill, you learned more skills, and you repeated them. I want you to see your love life like that. I know it doesn't sound romantic, but it will end up being the most romantic relationship of your life if you use this strategy. You weren't born without it. It's just that you were never taught it. It's not your fault. There is a world of difference between these two. Okay? And that difference is your whole life. Walking away from that broken church people patriarchal model, that's very brave. And it's the right first move. But walking away is half a decision. It kind of closes the old door and saying, I'm done with all men. It doesn't build a new room that allows for the love that I know deep down you crave and deserve. And you are not the kind of woman who settles for half a decision. Hell no. I figured this out in my 40s. I want you to learn it earlier than me. I got divorced at 35 and moved across the country, hosted a national radio show, and I had a life that looked completely handled from the outside and not one real clue about how to rebuild and find the kind of love that I actually wanted on the inside. So I built myself up this wall and said I was good, independent, and alone, but it wasn't true. I've been running my entire career on strategy and my entire love life on a wish and a hope and a prayer. It was never answered. Hoping a better man would somehow produce a better result. It never does. But a new blueprint does. So I stopped wishing and I started building. That's what I want to help you do. I got very clear on what partnership actually meant to me, not the inherited version of servanthood in a marriage. I got very clear of what I was looking for, and I would not back down. And I met my husband, Sean, on Hinge. On purpose, with a strategy, not by luck. And we're totally in love. We have a blended family. We have 7 kids. Well, 7 of us, 5 kids between the 2 of us. And we run a partnership like the data describes is going to be the most successful. We decide together, we share expenses, nobody's the tiebreaker, and our life is easier for it, not at all harder. Then I did what you do with anything that works. I decided to share it and I started teaching it. 257 women later have implemented this strategy and have found partners. And I can tell you the truth about every single one of them. They could always love. Nobody had just handed them the blueprint to find the love that truly fulfilled them. They were following an old blueprint that fulfilled everyone else but themselves. So I built them one and I'm teaching it you today. So as promised, every episode is a play that you can run in your life to get the life that you want. So we can win. So here's your play this week. You build everything else in your life from scratch, your company, your career, your whole financial life. You are allowed to build your love life like this too. So I got 3 parts for this play. Grab a pen because the writing this down, that's the work, okay? Number 1, part of this play, I want you to name the old blueprint. Write down every rule about love and marriage that you've absorbed before you were old enough to vote on it. The man leads. The man takes care of the money. I stay home and take care of the kids. And you make it work no matter what because divorce is an option. Wanting more is selfish. Get all that shit out of your body and onto a page, okay? Because you can't rewrite a rule you can't see. All right, we got it. Number 2, cross out what was never yours. Go line by line and be ruthless. Which one of these so-called rules for this blueprint did you actually chose? Or were they all something that somebody told you that was going to work for you that actually didn't? Which got handed down to you by a model that research just told us was built to fail? Strike the handed down ones out. Every single one of them. And now step 3 in the play. Write the rules that you would actually choose for yourself. If you can't think of anything right now, just start at 1. The thing that has to be true for you to say yes again to love: an equal partner, someone that's emotionally available, someone that respects me, someone that's a cheerleader for my career, someone that adds to my life, doesn't try to manage it, someone that would never ask me to ask for permission before I bought a new bag. Write it like the standard that it is for you, because it is one now. That is your new blueprint. It is yours. And a woman that is holding her own blueprint is not ever opting out of love because it seems too hard. She's finally qualified to direct the building of a brand new life and new relationship. That's the play. Name the old blueprint, cross out what was never yours, write one rule or more that you would actually choose for your future. If this episode put words to something you've been carrying for years, would you do one thing for me right now? Before you forget, send it to just one woman. You probably know exactly who she is. The one who's about being done with love. The one who's calm about being done and certain there's nothing on the other side. Would you send it to her? The one who's convinced that all she wants is to be a trad wife and find a man to lead her. Would you send this to her? That's how she finds her way out and is never stuck in a miserable relationship. That's how this show grows. And take the next step. If today cracks something open, magnetic attraction is where you can start to rebuild safely. It's my free training on how to become the woman a commitment-ready man moves towards on purpose, and show him with your dating app, with a strategy, not chasing. So what magnetic attraction teaches you is how to create a dating app profile that sends away the clowns and only attracts high-value men that want to be equals. It's not about getting more likes, it's about getting the right matches. The link to watch that is in the show notes. You can watch it on your schedule, so make sure you can sign up for it as soon as you finish this episode. And please, it would really mean a lot to me if you could subscribe, follow, leave a review wherever you're listening. It is the single best thing you can do to put this show in front of other women who really need it. And I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm Amanda Carroll. Remember, you're not waiting to be chosen anymore. You're the one doing the choosing. Now go run the play.